Yaga yaga yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Twizzle Roots live up inside the building. You know how we do. This is Parle and Politics. That's right, we speaking politics up in here. We talking about whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just kicking it, you know what I'm saying? And listen, if there's something y'all want to talk about, hit me up in the comments below. And yeah, we can chat about whatever up in here, you know what I'm saying? That's how we do things. See, and today we're gonna be talking about the 5 elements of hip hop. Why the 5 elements of hip hop? Because this hip hop itself is probably the only genre out there that have elements that define it. Hip hop is the most popular music in the world. Know that. You know, the DJ, the MC, graffiti, the B-boy, knowledge, put all those things together, put all them elements together, and you got hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? The culture of hip-hop. I believe fashion is up in there also. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, we're just going to focus on these 5 elements, you know what I mean? Because they're the main ones. Disco King Mario. This brother right here, he came from South Carolina, moved to the Bronx, Bronxdale itself, and I mean, he would have been living in South Carolina when race relations were terrible, you know what I'm saying? And came to the Bronx, learned DJing, became what was known as the Disco King. He was part of the Chuck Chuck City crew, and the brother was unbelievable. And he was doing it on subpar equipment in them times. So I got a brother from Bronxdale here, took a clip. He's going to talk a little bit about it. Let's check this out.
So D had the real professional stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When Mario started, he had Gerard turntables. And I'm gonna tell you this something that even D don't even probably remember.
Okay.
He had a Sansui receiver that had phono 1 and phono 2.
Wow.
It wasn't no mixer. He had 2 Gerard turntables and a Sansui receiver, and it had phono 1 and phono 2.
And this is before DJ D.
Right. This is before D came along with his professional equipment.
Right. What year was this, you would say, about?
Well,
Sansui?
when he had the Sansui,
yeah,
that was 71, 72.
Wow. Early 70s, rocking the park, doing what he had to do. That's definitely dope. It's craziness. You know, a lot of DJs in them times, they didn't actually get the acclaim that they should have. You know, the L Brothers, Charlie Chase, Wiz Kid, the original Clark Kent. That's going to be a whole episode on its own. The original Clark Kent. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? DJ Sinbad, another one who was rocking it back in the days, very early times, you know what I'm saying? And of course, the one and the only that we all know, DJ Kool Herc. And what Kool Herc has done for hip hop, it can never be underrated. It can never be forgotten. You know what I mean? Them parties at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue are legendary to this day. This is where a lot of the b-boying, you know, the MCing was going down, you know what I mean? And people would have flocked to this place for these parties, you know what I'm saying? So hats off to Kool Herc, you know what I mean? With him extending them beats so that the breakers could just do what they had to do. It's a vibes thing, you know? So that's the one thing when it comes to the DJ, that element, it was the glue of hip-hop. It brought the music together, brought the mixes together, brought the dancers together, brought the MCs together, you know what I mean? Even the graffiti heads, they'd be out there bombing, probably listen to a DJ mixtape, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the DJ was the glue of hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? So let's move on to the MC. Now, when it comes to the MCs, you can never forget this brother right here. And this brother that we're looking at on the screen here, he grew up in the 60s when the Bronx was burning, you know? And as a matter of fact, when people would be breaking and they'd be dancing back in the day, that's actually what they called it. Yo, he was burning out there, bro. Oh, that was dope. Yeah, that's how they used to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But the brother we're looking at right here is Coco Rock, the man who is touted as the first MC. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there was people, you know, doing their thing back then, but he was the first. And funny enough, he didn't really record any music. You know, he was just an MC at the party. He actually was a dancer also, and he also DJ'd at the parties too. You know what I mean? So, multi-talented brother, man. Hats off to Coke Rock for sure. Let's move on. Next here we have the first female MC, Sha Rock. Now, if you don't know, now you know. Go out and Google it. First female MC. I got mixtapes from like 1981 with the L Brothers and the Herculoids, and you got Sha Rock up in there. She sounding better than the guys did. Better than the guys did, man. Killing it. You know what I'm saying? So hats up to this young lady right here, because she was definitely doing her thing back in the day. Next up, one that can never be forgotten, Curtis Blow, formerly known Cool DJ Kurt. You know what I mean? This was the first rapper to go certified gold. That's right. So that's something to be very proud of right there. First rapper to go certified gold. So that's absolutely insane. I believe that was with The Breaks. And he was actually introduced to the world by Russell Simmons. You know what I'm saying? So unbelievable right there. Next up, we got a crew that I would call one of the first independent crews. This is the Crash Crew. They came out 79, 1980. They pressed up their own records, did something like 500 copies of a track called High Powered Rap, and their flow was dope. They had a dope flow for them times right there, and they actually influenced a lot of other people to get into rapping and to do their whole rapping thing. You know what I'm saying? So big respect to them. The MCs were the reporters of hip hop, man. They were the Fox, the CNN. You know what I mean? The BBC World News. They were the ones letting you know what was going on in the community, what's going on in the streets, you know, what the fashion was, you know, what the hypest new cars were, whatever. They were on it. You know what I'm saying? So that is the element of the MC. Let's move on to graffiti. Yeah, graffiti. Graffiti is a beast in itself. I mean, some people try to take graffiti back to when cavemen were putting stuff on walls in caves. You know what I'm saying? To back when the Romans would like put a penis on a wall and stuff like that. You know, but we ain't going back that far. We're talking about hip hop graffiti, you know, and that has its roots traced back to Spanish Harlem in 1960s. And it just slowly started to infect and spread all over New York. You know what I'm saying? One of the first is this image you see right here, Tacky 183. Tacky 183 was a Greek American who would just go around and just literally write Tacky 183 on everything. Fire extinguisher, wall. You know, when you saw that silly type of writing in the elevator, you would have seen something like a Tacky 183, you know, right by the little console where you push the buttons, stuff like that. And then, of course, he expanded on to making tags on subway cars and walls and this and that and the other, you know what I mean? So big respect to Tacky 183s from the early times, early 70s, you know what I mean? And as the 70s began to progress on, a target became subway cars. The subway cars were the thing, you know what I mean? And crews like the Rockstars, they were the first. They would do up like 10 cars in a row. They wouldn't do it in one day. And, you know, that just shows the effort that they would have put into it, because it would take quite a bit of time to bomb 10 cars and do it nicely and make it look sick. You know what I'm saying? You know, back in the days, you weren't supposed to write over somebody's tag. You left it pristine. You know, of course, people did it, but yeah, that was it back in the day. And, you know, things got so crazy that the mayor of New York actually started a war on graffiti. Well, I find very interesting. I mean, Americans, you seem to start wars on everything. War on drugs, war on terrorism. Shoot, I think they started a war on abortion. Well, we ain't gonna go into any of that right now. We're just gonna just keep talking about hip hop itself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the subway cars were a big thing back in the day, and from the beginning of the 70s and on, graffiti just grew, and grew. One of the most famous names is a brother who, when you look at his graffiti, it's not the traditional graffiti that we know for hip hop. It's more like contemporary art, but he's bombing walls, you know what I mean? And he goes by the name of Banksy. And the crazy thing about Banksy is Banksy has done pieces all over the world. Banksy's done a piece on the Gaza Strip in the Middle East. craziness right there. You know what I mean? So hats off to that brother right there. Another well-known graffiti artist would be Blade. His tags are all over subway carts, all over New York. You know what I'm saying? Lady Pink, she was doing definitely a different, funky new style with graffiti. Beautiful. This is absolutely hype. You know what I mean? Some other names that you may not know that were graffiti heads were Fab Five Freddy and DJ K Slay, R.I.P. my brother, but he was also a dope graffiti artist himself. You know what I mean? So the graffiti artists, they were the artistic impression or representation of the times for hip hop. You know, I would say that the graffiti artists and their art were the Instagram and Snapchat of the early 70s, 80s, and on to even till now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? So now let's jump into the B-boys. And once we get into this part here, this is when just...
So let me ask you, you say Mario was the first and he started hip hop. How much later would you say did like Herb Bambaataa and them start making noise?
I think Herb started making noise in 74.
Right, 74. I heard that.
He started making noise in 74.
Right.
And but by that time we had the echo chamber, you know, and we used to, you could, once D set up his sound,
right,
and you put on the echo chamber,
right,
you could hear us from over, like, yo, Chuck, sit in.
Right.
And that's another thing. Now, people don't say this, and this is real.
Okay.
B-Boy stands for Bronx Boy.
Oh man! Why did you say that? Yo, I heard that.
That's what B-Boy is. Bronx Boy. Real talk.
I heard it was also. I heard it was something like Bronxdale Bad Boys.
That was a lot. Couple of them was rocking them. Yeah, some of them said Bad Boys. Yeah, but that's what B-Boy is. Bronx Boy.
So you heard it right there. You know, for me growing up, and you know, I was born in '75. All I ever knew from B-Boy was Break Boys. You know what I'm saying? Bad Boy, I guess. I never really equated Bad Boy to B-Boy. I always thought of a Break Boy. But then now hearing from an original head who definitely was born before me, saying Bronxdale Boys is where B-Boys came from. It's just crazy. And that's the thing with hip-hop. You're going to hear many conflicting stories from different people. They started this, they started that. Man, we need to get a real chronological history of how all of this actually started and everything came down. You know what I mean? The Black Spades actually cultivated the culture back in those times. You know what I'm saying? They protected the people in the Bronx, you know what I mean, from like racists and, you know, even like junkies and stuff. They would run them out, craziness like that. And the Black Spades, they were so powerful. They would come up into a club 20 deep, and let's say James Brown Soul Power was popping. They would come in. They had a saying, you know, people would be singing out Soul Power, and they'd be singing out Spade Power. You know what I'm saying? Soul Power, Spade Power, Soul Power, Spade Power. You know, craziness, power. You know, there's power in numbers. You know what I'm saying? So the Black Spades, yeah, they definitely had their part in hip hop. Let's jump over to a brother who I believe was I think was a Baby Spade, Zulu King. He goes by the name of Charlie Rock.
When you started burning, 74, you was a Spade up here. Was it B-Boys up here, really?
Yeah, us.
Just y'all?
Us. That's who it was, us.
What, the Spade? It was a Spade?
Well,
was you the only Spade that was a B-Boy, like in your crew?
No, not at all. Not at all. As a Baby Spade, not at all.
I'm saying like 22nd Division. Who was other B-Boys in your division?
My man B. Herrock, Seti Mo, they got me started.
Okay.
My man Ben Richards really is the one who got me started. But Ben Richards, B. Herrock, my man Byron, Seti Mo, my man Angelo, Lolo. We all of us were B-Boys. That was our crew, the Gun Hip crew. We were all B-Boys. You know, I was a wild kid and I was in the spades, but I was kind of considered the good one because my parents were real strict and I was sneaking out the house to do whatever I was doing, you know, running around like that. You know.
What about outside of your crew? Was there other B-boys?
Yeah, Breakout. DJ Breakout. Him, his crew, my man Basic Breaker, which is Jerry Miller. I forgot my man Lil Jamaica, Warren Smalls. He was part of us too. He was a peacemaker, okay? But we all hung out together on the avenue back in the day.
It's always good to hear from the original heads that were there because they're going to give you them real stories, you know what I mean? So that you can kind of put things together. You start hearing names, you know, you start looking up other clips, you hear some of those names, and then you kind of know that there's some truth to what they're saying. Big respect to Charlie Rock. There was a crew of two brothers that are touted as the first breakers back in the day. They were known as the Nigga Twins. They changed their name later on, obviously, you know what I mean, to the legendary Twins. But when you ask, you know, if you ask any original heads from around them times, they're going to talk about the Nigga Twins, and they were dope breakers. Dope breakers, you know what I mean? So let's check this clip out right here. It's the legendary Twins at 1520 Cedric Park.
Hey, hello, sir. Cindy and them will be sitting right here, right there, and have the little cup with the money, because it's only one way in. The bathroom right there, the turntables room over there, right? Just want to come in just to say this is where the parties were. Okay. In this small room right here. We had breakfast a little earlier. You know, if you pan that wall, and I'm sure you'll be able to show it, everybody down on that wall was our inspiration, along with our #1 inspiration was James Brown.
Definitely. I mean, it's always good to see, you know, a legendary spot, you know what I mean, a place in history where the realness went down. 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, that name will live forever in hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? But as I said, you're always going to have some conflicting stories about who actually were the first breakers or first B-boys, this, that, and the other. So let's jump right onto this.
Actually, you saying y'all started breakdance?
Yes.
What about the Nigga Twins?
They was later. They was much later.
Did you know them at all?
Yeah, I know them. Yeah. I know them. They used to come to parties like the T Connection and stuff like that.
Right.
But that was later on.
But hold up. When y'all was dancing, y'all wasn't floor moves, was you?
Yeah, that's how it started. It started, like I said,
with the cripple dude,
with the
right?
cripple dude. When he did that, he was on the floor, and he did that. Once he did that, that was the start of the moves, and in the helicopter by jumping over your foot and doing that, and then when you jump back to go like that, or in your face or something like that. Once you do that, that was the moves.
In your face?
Yeah, in your face, man. You know, you do your move, dun, 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 and they go, like that or whatever. And then they be like, yo, like that.
Craziness, you know what I'm saying? But this is what it is. You just got to keep digging, you know, listen to the stories, and you'll hear one way or another, you'll figure out where things started. And one thing I get when it comes to B-boys, it definitely started in the Bronx. There's no question whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? It all started out in the Bronx. Check this out right here.
First time that I saw anything similar to b-boying was on TV, and then physically being there to see it done was first by my cousins up in the Bronx. And then I started seeing guys doing these corkscrew kind of spins and then going on the floor doing a sweep and then popping up, and I'm like, oh wow, that's it. I gotta learn that, man. That's cool.
That was Green. He was actually an original member of the Rocksteady crew, and we cannot talk about breakdancing without talking about the Rocksteady crew because they absolutely killed it. You know what I'm saying? Check this clip. what's going on here to us. Yeah, so like I said, actually the original members of the Rock City crew would be the Crazy Legs, Baby Love, Prince Ken Swift, Buck 4, Kuriaki, and Dose Green, who we just saw a little bit earlier there, talking about the early times in the 1970s. You know what I mean? But again, as I said to you there, it was always another conflicting story. But this story that I got here, this is actually co-signed by an A1 B-Boys. There's different levels of B-Boys. We'll go deeper into that into another episode. But A1 B-Boy SASA co-signs the story of this brother right here.
Okay. How I became the first breakdancer? Wow. That's real deep. Herc gave a party down in the valley.
Okay.
And mind you, we used to do house parties.
Now wait, when you say valley, you don't mean up Co-op City.
Yeah, no, Co-op City is Co-op City. But across there's a place called the Valley.
Because people know the valley.
We call Cedric the Valley.
Oh, he calls Cedric the Valley. Okay.
That's the valley. No man's land, because it was hardly nothing there.
Right.
It was all dark.
Right.
Boats used to, dock there and all that. So we call it the Valley.
Valley.
Cold as shit too. Excuse me for cursing, but cold down there in the wintertime, boy.
Right. Okay.
Word up. So Herc gives them a party, Invited all of us. And we was like, man, we ain't going down there. Now we ain't going. It's too cold to go down there, da-da-da-da-da.
Now, is this his first party?
It's his first party in 1970.
In August?
No, this is in the wintertime.
Wintertime, okay.
The August thing was for like a
back to school.
Something like that,
Okay.
But we was doing this from 70, 71, 72, 73.
What do you mean you was doing this in 71?
We started with Herc 1970.
Oh, you was cool with Herc in 1970?
We grew up together. We actually played ball. We did a lot of things. All of us got to know. Herc came around us in 68, 69.
Now think about that. We're now going all the way back to 68, talking about Cool Herc and breakdancing. You know what I'm saying? Or burning, as they would have called it back in the day. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the B-Boy, yeah, the B-Boys, they were the dancing warriors. You know what I mean? They wouldn't come at you with no knives and no guns. They'd come at you with some sick, crazy move up in your face. You know what I'm saying? Pop locking, doing whatever they did. Yeah, the B-Boys, y'all set it off, and it infected the whole damn world. You know what I'm saying? Red Bull jumped up and took the opportunity to create Red Bull BC1, which has... Listen, I have never seen so many breakers from literally every continent on this earth. From every country on this earth, you have breakers doing crazy styles. And that was not just the B-boy, you got the B-girl too. You know what I mean? Kicking it up. You know what I mean? Check out this young brother right here. He goes by the name of MENNO. He's actually rated as the #1 breaker in the world, and the styles are just so different. Check it. B-boy MENNO doing it up. Styles right there, you know what I'm saying? Another brother that's been doing his thing out of South Korea, B-boy Wing. Check this one out. Unreal. The styles are just up there. These guys defy gravity these days. You know what I'm saying? Just killing it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta show you one more. This brother's out of Japan. B-boy ISSEI. Check the vibe.
Make some noise for ISSEI! Woo!
unreal technical skills right there, man. You have to be in shape. You got to be a tactician to be able to execute those type of styles that they're doing right there. Unbelievable, man. I'm telling you, it's something else. And that's my thing on the B-boys right there. You know what I'm saying? And the last element is knowledge. Why is knowledge so important? Well, as black people are descendants of slaves, we don't even know our last name. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to knowledge of self, it is super important. You know what I'm saying? And the 5%ers would go even deeper with it, talking about supreme mathematics, the gods and the earths, building and destroying with your brothers and sisters about the issues in the community and this, that, and the other, and how we can make things better. That's what the knowledge is about. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge of self-defense. If you've never noticed, and I'm sure you have, karate, kung fu, all of that is very deep within the hip-hop culture. Wu-Tang made it even more popular with their whole Shaolin 36 chambers. You know what I mean? But yeah, the knowledge is something that can never be taken away from hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? KRS-One has said it best. Knowledge of self will allow you to know the universe and God. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. So listen, y'all, I'm going to end this off with the 6th element that I told you about, fashion. I think we can all agree that it is only hip-hop that can do things like wear a Bounty paper towel on your head as a headband, put on a oversized, crisp white t-shirt, got some jeans, got some fresh kicks, white kicks, and just rock it out as a style. Only hip-hop can do that. Hip-hop just has broken so many different styles. It's unreal. You know what I mean? So let these brothers right here tell you exactly what's going on. Dip, dip, dive, so socialize, like and subscribe, y'all. I'll see y'all next week.
I'm talking about a time period where people wear Converse and Pro Keds, where you could go to the supermarket and get your sneakers, and they called them skips if you had something other than Pro Keds or Converse. That was a time period. And the short pants that brothers wore, they came down just above the knees, and they're kind of tight fitting. The t-shirt they see people wearing now, what they call the wife beaters, they were popular back in the 70s.
Probably see my man here on the left back in the day, the furry Kango, fat ass Playboys to match.
Back then we had Playboys, we had Playboys, British Walkers, mock necks, silver medallions.
Bring your dancing shoes out, have that gear tight, 2-piece tailor made from Moon.
A lot of the niggas like Run DMC, they was emulating us. The Lee suits, the Borsalino velour hats that you saw, we was rocking them already before they was doing DVDs. Then when you seen it on them. We had already made that alive.
They took it worldwide.
They took it and then they brought it out of the hood. That was really a South Jamaica kind of style. Now Brooklyn, they had the Beavers with the oil.
Oh yeah,
slick alligator look and shit like that. That's Brooklyn. But we had the Borsalino velours, alpaca sweaters, the mock necks. You saw that, the leather blazers. We was doing that. We wasn't playing, man.